Hi guys, it's your favorite mystic, TheSirenSayz, and welcome back to my channel, where I speak about movie, TV, and soon-to-come books, and everything that I like, dislike, and the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything all throughout and in between those frames of media. Now, we're finally doing another Avatar video after almost a year. I know, I had a lot of older Avatar videos that I put out. I put out old thoughts, and you would have thought I would have had some new thoughts, but here's the thing. The Avatar community is a little toxic. It's not as toxic as other fandoms. People have to say it's a very toxic community. It really isn't. Like, I've watched a lot of different Avatar content, and all I do is just complain to my family for a couple hours, and then I leave it alone. But I'm just going to get into it. Disclaimers, it's just my personal opinions. But today, one of my personal opinions was proven correct. It was an opinion based off of a video that I did. The thumbnail will be up here on the screen. This is a video I made that I got a little bit of heat for. Don't go back and watch it. I'm just going to reiterate what I said about it here. But just preface, it's my opinion. Everybody says so. However, one of my opinions were proven to be a fact, and I felt like it was a fact, so I spoke like it was a fact, even though I said it was an opinion. And I think that's where some people got upset, which I can understand. But I knew what I knew. Now, just to get into it, when it comes to writing, I can see things. I read a lot of books. Okay, I used to read like 20 books a week. I'm not exaggerating with you. Okay, I'm talking about storybooks. So I know a lot about writing and story writing. Okay, I love to tell stories and I love to write. So you're really not going to come at me about good and bad plot. Like, Legend of Korra has a good plot. Here's what I'll say about Legend of Korra. It was a brilliant idea. The original creators of Avatar, Brian DiMartino and Mike Konietzko, they are incredible idea men. I feel like their ideas are top tier. However, I have always said that they just needed somebody to help drive their vision. Someone to fill in the plot holes. Someone to give more life to the story. They can put out the draft, and then somebody else has to make it a full manuscript. That is why the original show was so good. Because of the limitations that they had. Sometimes when you're limited, sometimes your best work comes out of that because you're forced to not be able to do whatever you want. And when you are forced to think within a box, you have to have a lot more ingenuity to figure out how to work within that box. And sometimes something beautiful and dang near perfect can come out of that. And I guess that's what happened with the original Avatar: The Last Airbender. They had a lot of restrictions. They had a good head writer who was able to help them fill up the little plot holes of their ideas, and then they were able to make a masterpiece of a show. But now, we're gonna get into it. With the original video that I have the thumbnail up on the screen for, I was speaking about Brian and Mike and what I thought about them. And the video was entitled Unpopular Opinions on the Creators, because it is an unpopular opinion. Some people have had that opinion. I've seen comments here and there that sort of echo my thoughts, so I'm not alone. But it is an unpopular opinion because it seems like a negative. It seems like we're crapping on them. And I just want to preface this by saying I'm not trying to crap on them. I'm not 15 anymore, upset with how Legend of Korra continued and ended. I'm not upset about that anymore. It's one of the reasons why I didn't continue to make videos about it, because I'm just not that upset anymore. If something bothers me about new developments in the Avatar world, I just talk to my friends and let it go. But this is my favorite show. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original, is my favorite show. And so there still is a level of rawness to it where I just don't, not too much on Aang, don't do too much. Don't do too much. Wow, you think so-and-so is better than Avatar: Airbender? That's crazy. I can be like that. But I'm not as raw and as young and as oh my God, ready to fight as I was before. So I wasn't making videos. I just wasn't here for the backlash. Videos about Avatar, if they catch on, get a lot of views and they get a lot of hate. Unless you find a bunch of people that agree with what you think. And I just didn't have time for that. So I just focused on other things, which was fine. But this channel was originally going to have a lot of Avatar content on it leading up to the show that's going to come out in a week. And I heard some things that I did not like, right? I heard the rumors about Sokka's sexism arc being removed and, stuff like that. And I didn't like that. That is the only rumor that I don't like. I need to be honest with you guys about that. I've heard other rumors like they're going to lengthen out the amount of time before the comic, so it's going to take a few years instead of a few months. I understand why some people don't like that though. And let me explain why some people don't like that. Some people don't like that because they like how quick it happened. They liked how much all of our characters grew within a short period of time because they had to. And I agree with that. I love that Aang is on this pedestal because he was one of the only avatars to learn all the elements within a year. Like, it'd be taking people years. Like, Goku, it took him a long time to master waterbending. A long time. Like, I appreciate that, and I appreciate Aang's development. However, for the live action TV show, it would be difficult for them to do that with these kids aging so rapidly, and we would not get a good show if they did the whole filming in like 2-3 years. We don't want that. And plus, we want it to be longer so that certain arcs can make more sense. Certain relationships can make more sense. Now, I'm not going to go into relationships too heavy because that's one of the hotly debated topics in this show. And y'all know which teams I'm for. I'm a Mei and Zuko and Katang fan. So those are two relationships that I'm with. And when it comes to Sokka, whoever he ends up with, I don't really mind. But if they ever did age up Toph, that would be the perfect couple in the entire show. You all know it. Anyways, let's get into what vindicated me. So as it pertains to the thumbnail of the Brian and Mike thing, one thing that I've always said about them is that they are one-hit wonders per genre. And that was harsh. So I'm gonna redact that a little. And I'm gonna say they have great ideas. Because that's really what it is. They have great ideas, but they can't prolong it very long by themselves without it getting messed up to a certain degree. That's why Legend of Korra is the way it is. That's why some people, it's like a hotly debated thing. It split the fan base, all of that. That literally happened because they did not have somebody to help their vision thrive the full way. People can say that part of the reason is because the arcs didn't get fulfilled and, they didn't have enough time. Netflix kept effing with them. And sure, but Netflix was effing with them in the original show too. That's why each season sort of ended like it could have stopped there. That's why each season ended like that. Like, even if it wouldn't have been the perfect ending or a satisfying ending, each season ended like it could have stopped there because they never knew if they were going to keep going. Yes, they got a 3-picture deal, but they came with a 3-season long story. They came with that. So they had the wherewithal, or the writers behind them had the wherewithal to make a complete story and put stops in there in case they didn't get renewed. And I feel like they could have done that with Legend of Korra. Would it have been extra work and felt a little, dang, why we do this if we didn't get renewed? Sure, but it's better to be prepared than to be lazy. Okay, now, just talking about story-wise, we all know the animation and the graphics were top tier, but it's the story that people debate with Legend of Korra, and I'm just explaining to you what's going on with that. So, in my video, I discussed how they have great ideas, but they don't flesh them out properly, and they need good writers to flesh it out. And I spoke about Eren Ehaz and how he was, how they kind of had a small falling out. And that's why he didn't come back for Legend of Korra. And you could feel that he wasn't there for Legend of Korra. I've had a lot of people say, oh, he wasn't the only person writing in Avatar. You're correct. But you see that he was one of the main people who was not there anymore. And you could see the dip. You could see the dip in the quality. I have not watched all of Dragon Prince because it's not a show for me. It's a show for people who are younger than me. But what I did watch, when my little brother was watching the show, what I did see, it was good enough for me to be interested and sit there and watch it. There was a certain level of quality in that preteen teenager show that is very reminiscent of Eren Ehaz's Overlook. Eren Ehaz knows how to make other writers make sense. He knows how to make people who have good ideas and people who write. He knows how to direct them. He's like a composer of the written word. He knows how to sit there and compose people to make a beautiful symphony of a story. And I think we need to give him a little bit more respect. Now, what you're seeing up here on the screen is a lovely young lady who did not want to say anything. Okay? And I understand why she did not want to say anything, because you don't really want to talk about the behind the scenes. It's much better to have people think that Brian and Mike are perfect and they left because Netflix is the devil. It would be better to make them think that. But here's what I thought before we get into what you see on the screen. I thought that if they had full reign and Nickelodeon never gave them the money to do their own studio, I think they would have added a whole bunch of nonsense into the show and y'all would have been shocked. And you know what? Low-key meaning in an alternate universe, I'm glad it's not true, but low-key, I wish they had stayed. I wish they had stayed, and I wish that Netflix didn't stop some of their ideas so that you guys could see what I was talking about in my original video. So that you guys could see what I mean. Because like I said, even though Legend of Korra's writing quality is not that good, it was still good enough because they have very good ideas. And that's why there is a divide. And that's why it's hotly debated whether the show is good or not. So that's why some of y'all don't see my point just by seeing Legend of Korra. Some of you. It's like, yeah, but Legend of Korra was so good. Okay, fine. Let them mess with the original Avatar. Let them do what they really wanted to do in the beginning with Nickelodeon, but they couldn't because it was a kid's show, or they couldn't because of the restrictions. Let them really let loose the way that they wanted to. I've always said that Legend of Korra is what they originally wanted to do with Avatar, but they couldn't do it. I've always said that. And I don't even like Legend of Korra, so that says something right there. Legend of Korra and all the things that they did do, right? All the stuff that they did write and put in despite the restrictions that Nickelodeon gave them at the time with LOK. That is what those are things that they originally wanted to do, right? The queer coding that they never got to fully realize because Nickelodeon wasn't fully there yet. All of that. The focus on things that didn't really matter as much. The drama, the romanticization that was too much and not enough at the same time. All of that is stuff that they had wanted to put in the original Avatar and they couldn't do that. A lot of you are saying stuff like, "Oh, Azula and Ty Lee would have been cute together." I'm almost certain they were planning to do something. They were planning to do something with those two, and they couldn't because of how Disney was back in the day. I'm just saying. They give me that they wanted to do all the stuff that some of y'all would have wanted, but they couldn't have done it, so they did the Legend of Korra, and that's why some of y'all like it. But it wasn't written properly, though. A hodgepodge of propaganda strewn together is not a story unless you have the depth and a little bit of backstory and the sprinkles on top to make it make sense. So, this person says, "I wasn't planning to put this out, but she was shocked and overwhelmed at how YouTube people were saying that the sexist thing was a cutout." And so she says that it's still there. It's just going to be portrayed more realistically and less cartoonishly. Now, what I get from that is that he probably won't stop being sexist as soon as he did in the original show. It'll probably be more of a long arc, which is a very good thing. And also she said that the sexism in the Water Tribe is still there, which I am very happy about because I needed that to be there. This person also continued on to speak about Brian and Mike. And what they said was that sometimes when you are a writer, there are things that you want to do that you can't do. And so people assume that Netflix is the one that wanted to make all the changes, but that's not true. It was Brian and Mike. Yes. So, Brian and Mike are the ones that wanted to make the big changes. Yes, Netflix making some changes, but as you can see from what they're saying, it seems like, and I watched all the little videos, the behind the scenes, because this is my favorite show. I have to keep up on the news. And also, if I didn't say this, I wanted to credit the avatarist. It's his comment section that he got this, and I just feel really good because I feel vindicated. I feel vindicated in knowing that I wasn't wrong. Because, you know, it's just tough. It's tough being in this community and feeling like I'm wrong about this. No, not feeling like I'm wrong. Feeling like everybody thinks that I'm wrong about this. You know? So, She speaks about, I may have some information on why they left, and all she can say is, if they had stayed and got their way, fans definitely would have hated it. Now look, she's not saying that they're terrible people. She's just saying that the way the fandom is, y'all would not have liked it if they had stayed and got their way. And this is what I was trying to say. She was made privy to some fundamental changes that certain main characters and world-building elements were unrecognizable from the original. Sometimes writers want to change their own story, want to undo things that they made that were great, but in their opinion were not what they originally wanted. And that's the last of whatever she's going to give. I knew it! I knew it! Now, as an Avatar fan, I'm going to give you some examples. This is for the Zutara fans. Y'all are crazy, but y'all are not completely wrong. I am not a Zutara shipper and I don't see what you guys see, but in season 3, they were trying to do it. But allegedly, Aaron Ehasz and Nickelodeon was like, no. So they didn't do it. So in the beginning, it wasn't fully there. But by the second half of season 2, right, not the ending of season 2 and the beginning of season 3, all of that tension and that anger, that was because they were trying to do Zutara. But then they got stopped. So you guys are right. There was something there. I don't agree with it because I see the characters way too deeply to have that coupling be a thing. But they were trying to do that. Brian and Mike wanted Zutara, but the stipulation said no. What else? They were originally going to make Toph a big, strong guy, and then somebody else was like, maybe make it a blind girl. Also, they did Legend of Korra, the most hated season in season 2, where they destroyed the lore. Like, they destroyed the lore of the spirit world and destroyed the lore of bending. That was them, guys. That was them. I'm pretty sure if they had stayed on, they would have made the world, they would have primed this world for a live action Legend of Korra, so that everything that happened in live action Legend of Korra would have made more sense. They would have made changes here so that Legend of Korra would have made more sense. I'm just telling you the truth. So I could definitely believe that they love the show, but they wish that all of their original ideas could have been realized. And guys, I'm telling you, some of their ideas, it's a no for me. It's a no for me. Some of their ideas is a big chop. 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 Nope. Nope. I love them. And their ideas are great in a vacuum. But some of these ideas put into practice is a big no for me. So, I'm just happy that I was finally vindicated. This person finally put out what I have been saying for a very long time, which is that you guys should be lucky that they did not stay. Because if they did stay, they would have changed characters and world building elements. They would have changed lore and main characters, guys. Then no, not change side characters like June and Jet. They would have changed the Aang Gang and or Team Azula. They would have changed that, and then they would have changed the lore, and it would have been unrecognizable from the original. One thing that I did catch when I watched the behind the scenes is that they said, we're not making a different version of Avatar. We made Avatar. We just had to tweak certain things here or there to make the live action make sense, but we didn't want to stray too far from the original. And I like that. I like that a lot. I know a lot of people are like, well, if you want the show copy and paste, watch the original. I understand where you guys come from with that, but that's a stupid argument. When you were 14 years old watching Avatar The Last Airbender, 10, 12 years old watching Avatar The Last Airbender, you wanted to know what it would look like in live action. That's why everybody went to see that terrible movie. There is no movie in Ba Sing Se. There is no movie in Ba Sing Se. All of us went to see the redacted thing because we wanted to see what it would look like in live action. So everybody talking about how, oh, if you want it to be just like the original, you should just go watch the original. Stop. I understand that they have to change things to make it live action, and I'm okay with that. There are changes that I've heard they're gonna make that I don't have any issues with. I think it will actually help with parts of the show that I already like, that people like to fight because the show was too short. Now the show might be a little bit longer. Some of the stuff that I like is going to make a little bit more sense. So it might just be better for me. Who knows? But I feel like what I really wanted was just for them to branch out on characters. One thing that I said in one of my original videos is that I really wanted May to shine. Not necessarily for her to get more backstory or anything. Her backstory is pretty dry. But I want to see her fight people. I want to see her unalive people. I want to see her prowess. Because it was a kid show to a certain extent, we didn't get to see that. And that's why people don't have any respect for May. They don't have any respect for her. They're wondering why she's on Azula's team. Why do you guys think that Azula would have somebody like May on her team if May didn't know what to do? And I've seen a lot of reactors who are like shook at May in Boiling Rock. When I was a kid, I wasn't shook by May in Boiling Rock. I wasn't like, whoa, she's really good. I was excited, like, yes, May, yes. But I wasn't shocked, like, wow, May's really good with this stuff. Because in my little kid head, I was like, well, Azula wouldn't have somebody incompetent. May just struck me as somebody who just did not care. Not incompetence. Okay? Incompetence is different from laziness. Those are two different things. And I hope that the show is going to show the difference between those two things. But yes, I just want to speak about that. I wanted to speak about that a little bit. I hope you guys understand me. If you don't, I get it. But still, I just want to talk about it. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for it to come out. Like at first I wasn't. I was hearing a lot of stuff. I was like, I don't know. But it looks like these people who are a part of it, they don't want to change the big things that would have bothered me. They're just going to change some little things. Make it a little bit darker. Do a little bit here, a little bit there. We'll see. If it's bad, you guys are going to get a video about why it's bad. I'm not going to be biased and say that because it's connected to the original, but I have always said this, and you guys can take this philosophy with you. It'll make you feel better. If it's bad, it is not canon. That's what I was saying in the beginning when Brian and Mike left the first time, because I was one of the only people that was excited that Brian and Mike left the production. A lot of people were like, oh my god, no, it's going to be terrible. But I knew what this lady on the screen, that should still be up there, I knew what this lady on the screen was saying already. I knew that they could not be trusted alone in this project. And I felt like the only way I would have felt good with them still being around if Aaron Hee-Haws was there to help write. That's the only way I would have felt comfortable. So since they left, I was one of the few people who actually started to like the idea of the live action once they left. Personally, truly, you can ask any of my friends. But like, I was like, okay, they left. This might actually be good. And it looks like it might be good, actually. So we're excited. I'm excited. What I will say is that I hope it's going to be good. I hope. There's a lot of money to put into this. But I have seen that they all watch the show. They all love it. All the actors are really good. They have really good chemistry, really good energy. They all embody their characters perfectly. It's making me real excited for season 2 because I need to see Toph. But I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient. But yes, I'm excited. And I like that the directors keep saying, we're not trying to be better than the original. We're trying to pay homage to it. And that is what I want to hear. Because if you pay homage just right, you could possibly be better. I'll never say that though. Nothing will ever be better than that show, cartoon-wise to me. Nothing ever. But, I like the respect, the angle of respect that they are coming from with this live action. So please. I know I spoke a lot. Because, this is one of my favorite shows. It's actually one of the few things I can sit down and speak for a whole half an hour about, no cap. I don't know if it's going to be my last video about it where the show comes out, or I'll just do a whole bunch of videos after the fact, like once I watch the show and I get different thoughts. But please do let me know your thoughts down below. Are you excited? Are you not excited? What do you think about Brian and Mike? All respect to them. I know you guys are still going to be fed, those of you who still think that they're infallible and they never make any mistakes, even though I think Legend of Korra was a little bit of a mistake, a little bit. They still have their studio, they're still making all their new movies, you're still going to get fed by them. I'm just not going to participate in that because I really just don't feel like seeing Grown Up and Gang be disrespected a little bit in writing by their creators like that. Like, I don't really feel like watching that a little bit. So, no. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This is a controversial video, but hey, I had to say something. Anyways, goodbye, my sires. Suzu! Avatar State. Yep.